Day 2 of NFL free agency is upon us, folks, and we had a hell of a day 1 stream here on Bears Now. Rolly and I were rolling for 9.5 hours, and we're going to be back at it today, probably 1:30 in the afternoon Central Time, but can't give you an exact time, and plus, if the Bears sign someone, we'll be going live earlier. So turn on your notifications, subscribe to the channel, and join us this afternoon for another live stream of NFL free agency. And on today's show, let's get you caught up on some free agent targets. Welcome into Chicago Bears Now by Chat Sports. I am Harrison Graham. Today's show is sponsored by RexMD. Go to rexmd.com/chat. Get that stick shift back in drive, if you know what I'm saying, in the bedroom. The leader in men's telehealth is RexMD. RexMD.com/chat. Great deals to get Cialis, Viagra, and non-branded additions as well. Okay, let's jump into today's show. Some updated Bears free agent targets after day 1 of NFL free agency. Obviously, a lot of players got signed, but still some big names out there for the Chicago Bears that they could pursue. So we'll go ahead and jump in here. Let's start with a couple of offensive tackles. We'll start with Kaleb McGary, who had a really nice year last year for the Falcons and is a player that I've been interested in a lot this free agency period. 6'6", 306. He's strictly a right tackle. Did allow 6 sacks last year, but if you look at his PFF grades, he was one of the highest graded offensive tackles in the NFL per PFF. He was their 4th highest rated. He was great as a run blocker, which I think obviously has value in the system. He's average as a pass blocker, which obviously you would like to have an elite pass blocker for Justin Fields, but it's free agency. If elite offensive tackles hit free agency, there would be a reason for it, and there's a reason that he is available. He's not a perfect player. He does have short arms, but I think he would be a really solid option at right tackle at this point in time for the Chicago Bears, so keep an eye on him. Also, Orlando Brown. Listen, the Chiefs moved on. They signed Jawan Taylor to be their left tackle, so Brown is leaving Kansas City, and I get we've talked about it. He's not an ideal scheme fit on paper, but he's a talented football player, and you would think he could plug into a different system and at least still play at a solid level. His PFF grades from a year ago were kind of just rock solid across the board. Good pass protector for Mahomes, especially the second half of the year. He struggled a bit early on in the season, but I think some of that might have been because he held out during training camp due to contract issues. Run blocking, which he's been better at in his career, wasn't as good last year. Only gave up 4 sacks, though. He's played both left and right tackle in his career. My question for the Bears and Orlando Brown would be, can you convince him to play right tackle, or are you comfortable moving Braxton Jones to right tackle? And ultimately, is Brown a good enough athlete to play in this system? That's the question the Bears got to ask themselves. If they don't think the answer is yes, then they may not sign Orlando Brown. So pick an offensive tackle. Who would you rather sign for Chicago? Type KM for Kaleb McGary, OB for Orlando Brown. Let me know down in the comments section below. Honestly, my top free agent target right now might be Yannick Ngakoue. I do not understand for the life of me why this guy is just not talked about. He is the epitome of consistency. He's played 7 years in the NFL and is still only 28, I believe. 27, 28, 29. He's not 30. And he's had 8 or more sacks in every single year of his career. Why does this guy not shoot up free agent boards? Everywhere he goes, he's productive. Everywhere he's been a solid player. I've never read anything about the guy being a bad locker room presence or something like that. So why is Yannick Ngakoue not being talked about enough? You need guys who can get after the quarterback. I like the DeMarcus Walker addition from last night, but Ngakoue is purely a better player. I mean, there's just simply no doubt about it. So I would like to see the Bears show some interest here. He's still young enough, and I think a 3-year type of deal, which is a lot of the type of contracts the Bears have been doing, would make a lot of sense. Let's go to another young pass rusher. That is Arden Key, who early in his career was kind of labeled a bust with the Raiders, but went to the 49ers in 2021, reestablished himself a bit, had another nice season last year with the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's a great rotation player. Right now, he would start for the Bears, in my opinion. Now, maybe he's a little light in this 4-3 scheme at 240 pounds, but he's got versatility. I like him as like an energy pass rusher type. He's a pretty solid player in that role. Ideally, he's not a full-time starter, but for this team where they're at right now, he probably would start at least early on, depending on what happens in the NFL draft. Now, today's show is presented by RexMD, the men's leader in telehealth, and you can get started at rexmd.com/chat. Fellas, do you lack confidence in the bedroom sometimes? Well, we've all had those nights where we get too nervous or maybe have had too much to drink. I certainly did on yesterday's show. There's nothing worse than not being able to put the stick shift in drive when you need it the most, but have no fear, RexMD is here. RexMD is FDA approved and the most trusted leader in men's telehealth. They have sponsored today's episode of Chicago Bears Now to help you always be prepared. RexMD has made it simple, easy, and cost-effective to help all the men out there last longer and feel more confident in the bedroom. RexMD makes getting generic and branded Viagra or Cialis easy. Everything is online, even the prescription, and they deliver it discreetly to your door. No waiting rooms, no embarrassing trips to the doctor, no insurance, and no copays. It's that easy. Take advantage of their best deal they've offered and save up to 90% off and only pay $2 per dosage with our exclusive link, rexmd.com/chat. That is rexmd.com/chat. Get started today with RexMD, $2 per dosage. It's a steal without even leaving your house. Link is in the description of this video and in the comments. It is rexmd.com/chat. Let's keep it rolling with our Bears free agent targets. How about Garrett Bradbury, who started slow in his career, but was really solid for Minnesota last year, and they run a similar-ish offense to the Bears with that outside zone running scheme, and I think he could plug and play at center. He's a good athlete at 6'3", 300. He's kind of a lighter offensive lineman, which the Bears like. They like guys who can move around, so I think Bradbury could be a solid fit here. I don't know what his market will be. I don't know if the Bears view the draft as a more viable option for center. I don't know if they view Lucas Patrick as the guy they want to start at center, but if they want to upgrade there, Bradbury was pretty solid last year. If they want a proven center over many years, Ben Jones is that guy. Now, Ryan Poles has been signing younger players, but I don't think it's a bad thing to pick and choose to sign quality vets, even a 33-year-old like Ben Jones, who you know what he brings to the table. Now, he had some concussion issues last year, so that's a little bit of a concern, but before that, he played pretty much every game in his career, fought through some injuries to do so. He's a warrior. He's exactly what you would want out of an offensive lineman, and he's a good player when fully healthy, which hopefully he could get back to that. So, again, I don't know if Ben Jones wants to continue playing. There's been some chatter he could retire, but if you want a proven veteran center, Ben Jones has done it for a long time in Tennessee, and I think he could be a nice fit. Who should the Bears sign next in NFL free agency? Obviously made 4 signings on day 1. We'll recap those moves later on in the show. Let me know what you guys think, though. Who should the Bears sign next in NFL free agency? Okay, how about Byron Murphy? Interesting player, really athletic. He's been very up and down with Arizona early in his career, but if you want to get a CB2 type to pair with Jalen Johnson and Kyler Gordon in the slot, I think Byron Murphy could fit the bill. He's not great. I don't think he's ever lived up to that billing, but he's got athletic traits that I think the Bears would be intrigued by. He's still young. Keep an eye on this one. He also had 4 picks in 2021, which is the best year of his career. This past year didn't have one, but maybe he can get back to 2021 form. Sean Murphy-Bunting had a really good year this past year for Tampa. A couple picks, 7 breakups, has some nickel outside corner versatility. At 6 foot, I'd probably play him on the outside, especially if the Bears want to keep Gordon in the nickel. I think he's a really good CB2. He might cost a lot, though. I don't know what his market will look like. I didn't include James Bradbury, who's still out there. I think he'll be too expensive. Sean Murphy-Bunting, can you get him for $10 million per year? Jamel Dean went for, what, $13 million per year to re-sign with Tampa? I think he'll be a little less than that. It'll depend on his market. Let's talk about the Bears' big free agent, David Montgomery, who's still out there. Did not sign with the team on day 1. I still think the Bears are the favorites to re-sign him. Hasn't been a lot of chatter around him. The running back market has been pretty slow, to be honest. Didn't hear much about Miles Sanders on day 1, so something to keep in mind here is the Bears have let him test the market and see what his market will be. We haven't really gotten word of what that market is, but you know what you have in David Montgomery. He's a warrior type. He's a guy who can grind out tough yards. He can catch the football. He can block and pass protection. He's not going to average 5 yards per carry. That's not his game. But to pair him with Khalil Herbert, it's a solid 1-2 punch, and it kind of stabilizes the running back position for 2023. I'll mention Austin Ekeler, who's technically not a free agent, but there was a report yesterday from Adam Schefter that the Chargers have allowed him to seek a trade because he wants a contract extension, and it doesn't sound like the Chargers are looking to do that right now. He's, heading toward 30 years old now, so Austin Ekeler might be a guy that they don't view as a long-term piece there in Los Angeles. Averaged 4.5 carries last year, about 13 touchdowns. He's been a touchdown machine the last couple of years. So if you lose Montgomery, Eckler's cap hit is $6.25 million next year. Trade a day 3 pick for him. I probably would rather not trade a pick for Ekeler, but it's not a bad option. I did want to include him on today's episode. Pick a running back. What would you rather see happen? Would you rather have David Montgomery type DM, or would you rather have Austin Ekeler type AE? I'd probably rather go with Montgomery, but Eckler's not a bad fallback option if you trade very cheap for him with like a 6th-round pick. So let me know down in the comments section. All right, let's just recap what the Bears have done in free agency so far. Before free agency, they re-signed fullback Khari Blasingame to a 2-year deal, so he's back in the fold. And then yesterday was busy, man. TJ Edwards, 3 years, $19.5 million, $12 million guaranteed. I think this was, looking back at free agency, this deal or the David Long deal to the Miami Dolphins, 2 years, $11 million. I think those are the 2 best value signings of all of free agency so far. Really good deals for solid players. I'm fired up about having TJ Edwards. Can't wait to see what he's going to bring. Nate Davis, 3 years, $30 million, $19.25 guaranteed. I don't know where he'll start. He's played right guard for his entire career, but you would think he could play left guard. Do they move Tevin Jenkins to left guard? Do you move Tevin Jenkins to right tackle if you keep Cody Whitehair? I don't know. I think Cody Whitehair getting cut makes the most sense as a post-June 1 designation that can pay for your draft class, but we'll have to monitor that situation. Tremaine Edmonds was the big one. You add him into the fold. He's played mostly middle linebacker for Buffalo, but I think he'll play well in this system. Good athlete, can cover. He's long, athletic. Matt Eberflus loves those type of guys. 4 years, $72 million, $50 million in guaranteed. And then the signing that came in last night, DeMarcus Walker, 2 years, $14 million. It got updated to a 3-year, $21 million deal, $14 million of which $16 is guaranteed now. These are the initial terms, but it did get updated to 3 years, $21 million. So keep that in mind. We'll update that in our graphic sheet moving forward. But 3 years, $21 million, $7 million per year, $16 guaranteed for Walker. Had 7 sacks last year. Best year of his career. So definitely an upgrade for what you have in your defensive line, but you still need a lot of work on your front 4. All right, guys, that's going to do it for today's episode of Chicago Bears Now. I am Harrison Graham. Again, turn on your notifications after you subscribe. We'll be live this afternoon at some point. Not sure exactly when, but be sure to join us. Should be a lot of fun. See ya.